subscribe.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Feels great going into 2025, and the excitement is already continuing, with Supreme Darkness releasing as the first core set of the year. There's some pretty sick new cards in this set, and as always, some very highly anticipated support for existing archetypes. So today, we're taking an early peek at some of these new cards available in Supreme Darkness. But click the button though, yeah? Going back to Infinite Forbidden, we had the pleasure of introducing the White Forest archetype, you know, a very strong synchro-centric deck. Fast forward to Rage of the Abyss, we also got to introduce the Aamina archetype. So isn't it absolutely fitting that in Supreme Darkness, we get to introduce some of the cards that bridge these two story arcs together. Say hello to the first secret rare of the video, LZ Aamina of the White Forest, a level 2 light illusion effect monster. You can reveal this card in your hand, special summon one White Forest, or Aamina monster from your hand. So worst case scenario, this can just special summon itself. However, it also does have that flexibility where you may want to special summon something else from your hand. During your main phase, you can fusion summon one Aamina fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field. So this is an additional way of getting out your Aamina fusion monsters. And then the final effect, if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can add one Sinful Spoils card from your deck to your hand. That is a very nice effect. There's many good options to search there, and of course you can only use each of these effects once per turn. Overall, a very cool card that I know a lot of people are excited for, and honestly I can't wait to see some of the White Forest Aamina builds that people are going to come up with. It's a very cool deck, man. Next up we have Queen Aamina, an ultra rare level 8 Dark Illusion monster. Dude, her hair is so long, I thought that was a cloak. No, that's her hair. She's like a flying wig. This card is always treated as a Sinful Spoils card. Okay, searchable. Love that. We can search this with LZ, Aamina of the White Forest, if we want to. If this card in your hand or field is sent to the graveyard or banished by an activated effect, you can special summon it. So for example, if we use it as fusion material, it can just special summon itself back, which is always nice. When your Aamina or White Forest monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can target one Sinful Spoils spell or trap in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Alright, we got a little bit of recursion in there as well, not bad. And you can only use each effect once per turn. She's just the queen, man. And she also has that protagonist 2500-2000 stat line, which is very interesting. And while we're on the topic of Queen Aamina, we might as well look at her upgraded form, Saint Aamina, a secret rare, level 10 illusion fusion monster. To summon her, you're going to want to fuse together two level 6 or higher monsters, one being a fusion and the other being a synchro. What do you get in return for these requirements? Well, 4000 defense and great artwork for one, but your opponent cannot target cards in their field, graveyard, or banishment, or this card on the field with card effects. Honestly, a very unique effect, and that could just be enough to throw a wrench in the works for certain decks, but there's more. Your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken. Quite a short sentence, quite a short effect, that one, very easy to miss, don't forget that. And if this card was fusion summoned this turn, quick effect, you can special summon one level 9 or lower Aamina monster from your deck or extra deck. You can only use each effect once per turn. It's like a 2-for-1. Very nice card. Speaking of secret rare fusion monsters, we also have Snake Eyes Doomed Dragon. Would you believe me if I said this was Crystal Beast support? So it requires one Snake Eye monster plus one illusion monster, and it must be either fusion summoned or special summoned by sending two face-up monster cards from your spell and trap zone to the graveyard. You could even summon this in Centurion if you wanted to for some reason. But yeah, if this card is special summoned, you can target one face-up monster on the field, place it face up in its owner's spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. You can only use this effect once per turn. But that is a really nice effect, especially going second to help break your opponent's board, especially off the back of just two face-up monster cards in your spell and trap zone. And that also gives you a fusion monster for a potential SP Little Knight play. You know, the more I think about it, the better this card gets, man. This is absolutely going to see play outside of just Snake Eyes. And then the final card we have from the Diabellstar lore is an Exos Monster, Goblin Bikers gone bonkers, baby. Girl knows how to drive, man. We love the Goblin Bikers, especially in a Reziel format, so more support is always welcome. And here we have a new rank 6 monster. You can target face-up monsters your opponent controls up to the number of Goblin monsters you control, detach one material from a monster you control, and if you do, attach those monsters to this card as material. So it's good going second. We have board breaking ability. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can target cards your opponent controls up to the number of Goblin Exos Monsters you control, detach 3 materials from a monster's you control, and if you do, send those targeted cards to the graveyard. It's good going first as well. This is a solid end board piece, but also both of its effects synergize with each other, so you're detaching one to attach your opponent's monsters to your monsters, and then on your opponent's turn, you can use those monsters you attached to your monsters as the materials to send your opponent's follow-up monsters to the graveyard. Very funny card, man. We love that. Alright, moving away from the Diabellstar lore, we have Metal Flame Swordsman, who synergizes with the Max Metalmorph cards we got in Rage of the Abyss. So it's a level 6 Fire Machine monster, ultra rare, cannot be normal summoned or set, must first be special summoned with Max Metalmorph that was activated by tributing one level 5 or higher warrior monster, so you know, Flame Swordsman as an example. You can reveal this card in your hand though. Add one card that mentions Max Metalmorph from your deck to your hand except Metal Flame Swordsman, and if you do, shuffle this card into the deck. You can only use that effect once per turn, however it is a nice little consistency piece adding to the Max Metalmorph package, and obviously with the Max Metalmorph you could potentially summon out the Metal Flame Swordsman, and he does have an effect on the field. Each time your opponent activates a card or effect, this card gains 300 attack and inflicts 500 damage to your opponent when that card or effect resolves. So it's very similar to Red Eye's Flare Metal Dragon, except it's gaining attack at the same time. Another deck that received support in Rage of the Abyss was the Atlantean deck, and that support continues in Supreme Darkness. This is a deck I'm very afraid of facing because I know it's a fan favorite deck, a lot of people play it, and it's the kind of deck where if you're not prepared for it, you're gonna lose your hand, you know? So we have 2 cards to show you here, the first one being a rank 7 Exos Monster, Abyss Trite, the Atlantean Spirit. It requires 2+ level 7 water monsters specifically to summon this thing, and water monsters you control gain 300 attack and defense for each material attached to this card. You can then only use each of the following effects once per turn. If this card is Exos summoned, you can target one level 7 or lower fish, sea serpent, or aqua monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Okay, we're extending with this card, great. And also, you can detach one material from this card, set one Abyss Trap from your deck. I'm not entirely familiar with the combo lines of Mermail or Atlantean, but it sounds pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. And then the final card we have to reveal today is Poseidon The Storming Atlantean, a level 7 Water Sea Serpent secret rare, and he's zooming around in his little go-kart, man. While you control a monster, except Poseidon The Storming Atlantean, your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attacks. You can only use each of the following effects of Poseidon once per turn. You can send one other water monster from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard. That is cost, so, you know, the same gimmick as most Atlantean monsters. Special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can send one Atlantean or Mermail monster from your deck to the graveyard, then target one card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. You're sending from the deck to the graveyard as part of the cost again, so you're going to net more advantage that way, and you're also bouncing an opponent's card to hand, so a good going second option to help break your opponent's board. Overall, like I said at the start of the video, we have some pretty sick support cards coming in Supreme Darkness. It's going to add a little spice to the format ahead of the likes of YCS Birmingham, so yeah, we're gonna have to study up on these cards very soon. Let me know what you're most excited about in Supreme Darkness. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Adios.